all on a very gloomy Friday morning here in my part of the world. I think it's gloomy throughout a number of different parts of the Northeast, if you live in the US, that is, and the Midwest. It's been lots of rain and lots of rain, which is fine. It's the spring and we need rain. But we have gotten a lot more rain than average, and the ground is just absolutely saturated, and we've been getting water in our basement and all sorts of unpleasant things. So it has been a little too much rain, and we're hoping that it does taper off just to allow the ground time to dry, so that we don't get water where we don't want it in our houses. So that's one thing that's been going on this week. So, all right, so what are we going to do this week? Just talk about, I guess, what's been going on with us. And then our topic of the week is planning, summer planning, but specifically sort of a blog planning type of a post. So, because with the seasons, especially the summer is different from the rest of the year in terms of the blog, I think. Maybe it's because I'm still in academia after all these years, but the summer has a different schedule and a different feel, and so I do think that it does tend to be a time that's different for our creative endeavors. So we're going to talk about that, okay? So, all right, what's been going on with me? So, water in my basement. So, we've had that. Mike has been fielding that very well. Besides that, what else have I had going on? I finished teaching last Friday, like we talked about last week, and the break has been freaking glorious. Can I just say, this has been so, so needed. The semester isn't technically over. I'm still dealing with emails from students because we're grading their final projects, and next week we have one final thing to grade, so it's not really fully finished yet. I will be very glad when it is, but it's obviously simmered down quite a bit. I don't have classes anymore, and so that has freed up my schedule a lot. I haven't been able to work on my larger writing project yet, but it's coming. I was grading for the majority of this week and then fielding other emails and small things that came up, but that will be coming to an end by mid next week, I would think. So I have some books that I need to order for a collection that I'm in charge of. So I have to do that too. So I'm thinking that I'll probably start writing. I mean, it would be great if that could happen late next week, but I don't know that it will. I need to set up a schedule for myself. So probably the week after, which will be, let me look at my calendar, the week of the 15th? Yeah. But I really need to get a lot done this summer. End of May, all of June, all of July. That's going to be the heavy hitting writing time for me. I'll still have a little bit of time in August, but as soon as August rolls around, especially after we get past the first week of August, it gets into fall planning. Well, we're going to need to be doing that in other parts of the summer too. That'll be interspersed in my writing, but the fall semester begins here in late August, so August just, it feels different. The campus comes alive again. There's all kinds of tours and things going on, and we really feel the pinch that we need to be ready, and the fall is going to be intense. But I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was last year. There's just going to be a lot of classes, but we have planned for how we're going to deal with that, and it does not involve just all of us taking a crazy number of sections and just absorbing all of the extras. So we're working on getting that all squared away. We'll see how that works out, but I'm cautiously optimistic. So yeah, that's what happens in August, and so I'm just planning on really writing and just really praying for a fruitful and productive couple of months. And so if you would keep that in your prayers, I would very much appreciate that, because come fall, I won't have any time for that writing project, and I really need to get it done if it's going to get done. So I've got to be very goal oriented. So there's that going on. So besides, work, that type of thing, we have been dealing with seasonal allergies, and gets these really bad, and so she was coughing. I posted about that early in the week. She kept us up for 3 or so nights coughing and needing intervention. And I think it's a couple of things going on. When you no longer have an infant in your home for any length of time, and or you get past a certain age, it's much harder to get woken in the night and recover with any kind of grace and humility the next day. It takes a lot longer to recover from a bad night of sleep. And so I was really struggling with that earlier in the week, but all's well that ends well. She is on her allergy medication from the pediatrician and has been really barely coughing now, for which I am very grateful to God for that miraculous intervention. So we got past that. I mentioned earlier in the week too how I had my ears pierced, which I thought was just a very fun post that I enjoyed. I originally got my ears pierced when I was a kid, sometime before I was 10 years old. I want to say I was 8. It was right around there. And recently, I decided that I wanted to get a second hole put in each ear, and I don't know how well you can see it if you're watching the video, 'cause it's pretty small, but I love my new ear piercing. So I had that this week. It's healing very well. I have had no pain or anything. I had a very good, of course, and the lobe, it's going to be like that. I know when people get which I think looks really cool, but I don't know if I'm brave enough. The cartilage piercings and other types of ear piercings, those hurt more and have more of a potential to get infected and all of that. The lobe is pretty standard and easy, but I've been taking care of it and it has not even been red. It's been so easy. I've been spinning it so that it'll be a nice, perfect little circle. That'll heal that way. So everything's going well, and that was just a really fun little diversion in my week that I enjoyed. So that's, pretty much been my week. It hasn't been anything exciting. I've been working on my crafting. Mike and I have been watching, got a couple of shows going on right now that we are current on and have been watching, which are Better Call Saul, huge Breaking Bad fans over here. And so we keep up with Better Call Saul, the prequel, and also The Americans, which is so intense. I have very much a love-hate relationship with that show. Well, that and Breaking Bad / Better Call Saul, they can be hard to watch sometimes with the storylines, but it's just so compelling, and but particularly with The Americans, I get so annoyed sometimes and discouraged by the things that they do, as you would imagine if you know anything about the plot. But it's really, really good. So we've been watching those. We'll let a couple episodes pile up and then watch them off of our DVR. So there's that going on. This weekend is busy. It is going to be busy for pretty much the entire summer, starting May. So Henry he's got soccer practice. I don't know how well that's going to go because their game was canceled this week due to how much rain there is and the poor condition of the field. So I don't know if they're going to be able to practice or not, but he's got that scheduled. He's on a little very short-term league called the Parochial Kickers around here. It's private Catholic and other Christian schools. And for like a month and a half, he enjoys it. So he's got that. He's got a birthday party that he's all excited about because it's a laser tag place. And I think we're going to the Vigil Mass this week. On Sunday, I have a shimmy workshop, so that should be fun. So yeah, we've got our dance trip coming up, and so I've been feeling very inspired by that. Our troupe has a new, really, really fun and kicky drum solo that we're learning, and we're going to be finishing that tonight. Very excited. We're also going to be working on new costumes. We're going to be sewing some kind of a hip wrap for the new gowns. I don't know how well that's going to go tonight because most of us can't really sew. We always come up with these sewing projects, even though most of us can't sew, which is probably not the best idea. And today is Cinco de Mayo, and so we're planning on having drinks while we do this. I can't imagine these hip wraps coming out all that well, but I'm sure it's going to be fun. So we're going to be doing that. So that's what's going on with me. What's going on with you? Please let me know in the comments. So the other thing I want to talk about today, I had a hard time coming up with sort of how to rein in the theme of today's tea time, because I just didn't have an idea, but I just had this general sort of a thought swirling through my brain for the past week or so. So to start off this conversation, and I'll sort of come back and explain a little bit more. Last week we talked about summer book club plans, and I do plan to take the titles that we talked about last week, maybe tweak it and post a poll about which book we're going to read. So that's definitely going to happen. I'll probably do that if I remember next week. I'm really liking those 2 historical titles that I had on the list. And then there was an Amish title and a contemporary one. So I'll take a look at those again, but I'll post the poll and we can all vote. So so that was good. But I think that tea time is what got my mind going in this direction that I'm about to describe. So I had that tea time talking about the summer book club, and then I was, planning for this week as to what I was going to be posting about because we're finished with our St. Francis de Sales book club. And I was like, oh, that frees up another post each week. What am I going to write about? And I was thinking about that. This week I ended up having two just sort of life related events to talk about. So those posts pretty much wrote themselves. And then I noticed that the tea time for this week, so this one that I'm recording right now, is Tea Time with Tiffany, number 95. Very close to 100, right? And so a big milestone. And I thought to myself, where am I going with all of this? I know it's going somewhere. I think everything has been going very well. I've been enjoying this endeavor more than ever. But I wondered if this is a time for me to think about and evaluate where I would like to go with what I'm doing in my personal writing and podcasting endeavors. So it's been 2 years since I had a real tightening and evaluation of what I'm doing here at Life of a Catholic Librarian. 2 years ago in 2015, I went to the Catholic New Media Conference. And right before then, I had had just this little sort of a crisis. I'll try to dig up that post. In fact, let me write a little note to myself. Blog identity crisis post. That's what I'm going to call it. And I thought, I've been doing this for a while. Summer of 2018, so next summer is going to be my 10-year anniversary. Oh my gosh, that makes me feel old. 10-year blog anniversary. And so, but 2 years ago in 2015, I don't know why in terms of the timing, like what made that year so different from any other, but I just had this, I don't know, a time of an identity crisis. What am I doing? Is this really working? It was starting to feel a little bit more onerous to write the posts, but I didn't really want to give up the blog. I just didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I'm the type of a person that I'm very tenacious. I stick with things even when sometimes I wonder if maybe I shouldn't, just because I feel like I've made this commitment in my mind to do it. So I really thought about it. And that's when I started doing tea time. Back then it was just a video post because I didn't have any audio recording equipment. So in May of 2015, it was our first video only tea time with Tiffany. And I did video only for a while. I added in audio, I don't even remember, but it was, it may be 30 episodes later, so a while. And but I started doing it, and that just kind of revived things a little bit for me. Then I went to the Catholic New Media Conference in June of 2015, and that really inspired me to try new things. And that's when I bought an audio recorder, and that's when I started doing the chaplets on the blog, where I was recording audio recordings. Sorry, that was too repetitive. I was creating audio recordings of different chaplets so that people could download them and pray along. And that was my foray into audio. Eventually, I segued into also recording the audio of the tea time so that people could either watch the video or download the audio. So, and I've just been doing it that way ever since. So I haven't changed it in a while. I guess that's where I'm going with this. And when I started doing the videos, I tried to keep them to 10 minutes or under, just because any longer than that is a long time to sit and watch a video. Once I started doing the audio as well, I allowed myself to be the chatty Cathy that I can be and have them be around 20 minutes, because you can always just download the audio and listen in your car while you're out running or whatever, and I didn't feel so guilty about taking up too much of your time. So I've been seeing this as a micro slice of life podcast for a while now, well over a year. And so I think to myself, is it time for a change? That's where I'm at. I don't know that it has to be a dramatic change, but I think that it's good to evaluate what you're doing and assess whether or not it's still meeting everybody's needs. I really like doing these. And I know that I have people that listen every week, so that's good. Whenever I look at the stats, which, Blogger isn't as easy to work with on that as WordPress is, but in terms of, I don't know how many people read the blog, but, not everybody signs up to receive notifications via email. And that's really the only way that Blogger, well, they tell you how many hits you get on your blog every day. You get that, and you get how many people have signed up for email but I mean, I read tons of blogs that I don't sign up for email notifications. So, I know that that's not really an indicator. But I've had a steady number, steady small number of people that are on the email list. But the stats in terms of the podcast, the people that have signed up for using the RSS for the podcast has grown. Now, I'm not saying it's any kind of gigantic number, because it's not, but it's way more than I have in terms of the email notifications for the blog. I mean, like I said, there's probably more people that read than listen, but if you just can't capture that number. But that's a good thing. I think that it's going well. I know myself, I like slice of life types of things. I really wish that I could have more involvement in the audio recording, but it's so much more complicated, as I learned via my very enjoyable endeavor of Planned Not Scripted with Christina. It is much more complicated to have a co-hosted podcast, because then every week they're scheduling, trying to be free at the same time, and that is really tough right now when you've got people that have kids and work schedules, and it's really hard to both be free at the same time every week. And I just don't think that is a possibility for me right now, just given the state in life that I'm at. So what does that mean? I don't know. I wonder if I should change up where and how I record. Should I have more structure? Should I have defined sequences? That strikes a chord with me, but I don't want to make the audio end of things more complicated for myself, because this is really not a gift that God has given me. I know how to capture it and then edit it a little and put it out there and I set up the RSS, which was not easy via Blogger, let me tell you. If I were to ever do that again, I would use WordPress. But it is free this way, so that's a good thing. But it took a while to get that all established. Now it's done. I know how to do it. And so the thought of adding more steps in there, so if I have little bumpers, that's just going to add an additional layer to it that I don't know how to do. And would I be making it so that I wouldn't really want to do it anymore, because I would have added work, I guess, for myself, and made it intimidating for myself, because I don't really know how to do that all that well. I don't know how to do it at all. So, and I would want to do it well, and I'd have to learn how to do it. And I don't know. The summer, though, is a time when you/me are more willing and have more time to take on new creative endeavors. And so I feel like the time is right to think about that. That does definitely strike a chord with me, that I would have certain sequences that every week I would talk about. So what I have been doing is sort of how's my week been going? How has your week been going? And then I have a topic that I talk about for the second part. But would I also want to add in, like, I don't know, a prayer of the week, or, something like that? I still would not want it to be any longer than what I already do. 20 to 25 minutes, absolute tops. I want it to be a micro podcast for sure. And because there's lots of podcasts out there, and I love listening to them all. And I know that it can be hard to add something in to your schedule. And so this is what I think is a good length and easy to add in if you're already listening to podcasts. So what does that mean? I don't know. But I think the time is right to do a little evaluation. I have faith and confidence that something is going to come to me. And if it's something that would involve me changing a little bit in what I do in the audio production, that it'll be something that I'll be able to learn how to do. I would just worry that I would do a bad job, really, that it wouldn't be good, that it would just be so time consuming for me to learn how to do it good, and I would just screw it up. So I'm hoping that all falls into place. I really do think that it will. But it felt good 2 years ago to have that fresh feeling that I started something new. And I've gotten to the point now where it feels very routine. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Routines are very good, but you don't want to just keep doing a routine without looking back to see if it's still working. So that's where I'm at. If you have any thoughts on that or suggestions, I would love to hear them. I'm just going to continue to ponder this. It seems to me that episode 100 would be the perfect time to have an answer for all of this. That's 5 weeks away. So we'll see what happens. Maybe that will happen and that will sync up. But yeah, definitely keep this in your thoughts and prayers and let me know. I will be doing the same. And yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about right now. Planning for the blog for the summer. Please write in and let me know what you think. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. I'm really looking forward to mine. I'm sure we're going to have lots to talk about next week, and I will try to remember to post that poll for the book club because I'm really, really excited about that. And I'm thinking it'll be like a June, July type of a thing that we'll be reading our fiction book. How does that sound? So I'll get that poll up. I think the time is good to vote on our book. I will look forward to talking to you all soon, and that'll definitely be next week. See you later. Bye.